Well, some of the major indicators that they influence pricing of petroleum products have been going down. Now, one can talk about the Ghana Cedi. So while we're not seeing that much significant reduction in prices of petroleum products at the pumps, some of the oil marketing players in the industry are now in a better position to go down than what we are seeing. And what about current industry issues? Is all well with the industry or still they persist? What about the relationship with its regulator? Well, all these issues wrapped up on PM Express Business Edition as you engage the Chief Executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Riverson, upon as you look at the city's recovery and pricing of petroleum products. Dr. Riverson upon is my guest on PM Express Business Edition. Let's engage him on all these industry issues, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome to PM Express Business Edition as we talk about the Ghana Cedi and pricing of petroleum products. How is the performance of the Ghana Cedi impacting on pricing of petroleum products at the pumps and the market here? We've seen the cedi post some significant gains over the past weeks, but how does this impact the pricing of petroleum products? Per the pricing window, we should have seen some reductions of the pumps. We don't know whether all the oil marketing companies have done that or not, but indeed, I can give you that answer, but we'll get more of that from the Chief Executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Riverson upon. Doc, thank you so much for your time, and indeed, it's good to have you in studio here again. How are things? I mean, now I hope you've settled in so much into your position now.
Thank you so much, and good evening to you and your listeners. It's an honor to be here once again to discuss downstream business. Yes, everything is fine, and I've settled in quite well. It's been about 7 months now, so everything's going well. Thank you.
I mean, let's look at one critical thing in terms of, and we got into that second pricing window after 16th of this month. Now, help me out. How significant is the performance of the Ghana Cedi in pricing of petroleum products? Because, I mean, if the cedi is not doing well, we all expect that, okay, you know something, yeah, expect hikes in prices. Now we've seen some significant recovery of the Ghana Cedi. So how significant, is the performance of the cedi in pricing of products at the pumps in Ghana here?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, George. For those of us, including your good self, who've quite followed the principle of pricing of petroleum product in Ghana specifically, can attest to the fact that is basically this year where we have identified the importance and the significance of the Ghana Cedi to the pricing of the petroleum product. Time memorial, what we had was just the pump price, the plat price, determining the ex-pump price.
The plat is a platform for finished pricing of finished petroleum products on the international market.
Correct.
Thank you.
Exactly. So it's a benchmarking pricing system for the white product, and Argos for LPG and Brent for crude oil prices. So, like I'm saying, we've come to understand the importance of the cedi just probably this year because we've seen the cedi depreciating. Because when the cedi was stable and I was interviewed like this, I'll mention simple. I mean, the plat is going up, so expected to go up. And it was that simple. Last 3 months when I came here, I predicted that the crude oil price will be stable and going down a bit, and that's the same as plat price. And that was the case. Because before I came here, we were hovering around 900, we came down to 800. And after that prediction, indeed, we came around 600, and even I'll say that we came a bit below 600 for about 4 windows. Till we had a hike, and then we came down again. But that being said, indeed, George, we did not have the impact of that drop, marginal drop of the plat price on the pump price, or what say the cost of delivered price, because of the Cedis. Because the Cedi is a factor to the pricing. You know, once you import a product in dollars,
yeah,
and you want to sell it in Cedis, if you're paying back in Cedis, probably you didn't worry. But if you're paying back in dollars, then you need to have that Forex impact.
I mean, doctor, help me out as a lay person as well. I mean, you buy the product from these BDCs and all the rest and transporters, and I know that the current pricing is significant. But did we have a situation where a lot of your members were also doing a forward pricing? So I know that in 2 weeks' time, I'll be going back to buy these products. If I have that fear that the Cedi will be depreciating, I will factor that depreciating in the current pricing or not.
Okay, so with the current regime we practice as guided by the MPA, it doesn't give room for hauling product or adding something to it just because you predict that the following margin, so the following window, the margin will go up. That's not how it's priced. So if MPA gives you a window, that this is the window from 1st to 14th or 15th, it's applying the plat window. So it doesn't give room for you to increase your margin or whatever levy or additional you want to have. The worst case scenario from a member side, that's as an oil
marketing company, yeah,
is to refuse to sell. That would be the worst case.
But you've bought the product. They are locked up in your tanks. Correct. Beneath the service stations.
And you know that in the next window the price will go up for sure. That's a worst case scenario.
You say that you don't have product, yeah.
But not adding anything to it.
And that has been the practice by some of your members, if I could
no,
say.
that's not been the practice as far as knows.
But that could be something that some members would do because of if they want to protect their investment and the sunk cost that you are in an industry that is well regulated, and also to ensure that consumers are protected. And so therefore some would say that it might be an unfair business practice because in one breath, and I'll come back to my question about the time it takes, but we are in the second window, right?
Correct.
I stand to be corrected it again. We've seen Cedi doing quite well.
Right.
Have all your members done a review in their prices? And I'm using the underline word review, not necessarily reduction. I stand to be corrected again that I've just seen a handful. You have over 150 oil marketing companies. Just a few have done that review. Am I right?
So two things I'll say right away, and I've mentioned one already. We go with the window that is provided to us
every 2 weeks. NPA. Yeah, the 1st and then the 16th.
Within this window, okay, if prices drop within it, MPA will not review the price. So I don't expect members to review their price. That is one. Secondly, we have the floor price. The floor price means that you cannot sell below that line or that floor line. If you sell below because you know that now price has gone down and therefore you can drop your price, you'll be sanctioned by MPA.
Okay.
So even though we are deregulated, we are still regulated in certain arms. So I call the current regime a semi-regulated market. But at the same time, it's crazy market because of the competition.
But it comes back to my question whether all your members have reviewed their prices. And I'm not looking at reduction.
As soon as MPA reviews their
because I've seen, and I'll mention their name because God has done that. Shell has done that. And I stand to be again corrected.
As far as it's not below the floor price, it's allowed.
It's allowed.
Exactly.
So what happened to the other members, the more than 100 members out there who have not reviewed their prices? Because again, if I look at the indicators for this window, we should have seen some marginal reduction for some of the products.
And have you asked yourself why MPA did not give that reduction?
Do MPA reduce their prices from their end, or
yeah, they give us the,
or they using the price floor as an indication?
So they give us the floor, and they give us also the rate.
But Doc, I want to establish whether all your members have reviewed their prices or they haven't.
So, as far as they are not selling below the floor price, they're allowed to do that. And I'm positive that it's not only the Shell and the Gold that have reviewed their prices.
Yeah.
Probably need to go around more.
Yeah.
Two things have happened in this window, and you're totally right, George. Two things have happened because the Cedi has stabilized for the longest time.
At least, no matter models that you use, we can establish one thing, that there is some stability. Whether it has appreciated or is stable, there is some stability.
Yeah, it's stabilized. And at the same time, there is a marginal dip in the flat price. So I totally agree with you. And I think this is one of the questions that we asked MPA when the floor price came in. So we asked MPA that in a window, which is 2 weeks, whereby we see a drastic drop of a plat or a recovery of Cedi or stability of Cedi, as you see now, can we come back and change the floor price for the window? As it stands, it's not the case.
But so shouldn't have been, wasn't that the plan, that based on this implementation of this new structure, you could even have prices change within days and not necessarily the 2 weeks?
That's not the case.
Why is that not? Because that's what the MPA was telling us, that based on this new modeling, we could have prices even change every day.
Remember, it's a range. Okay, it's a range. So as far as you sell between the range, you have no problem with it.
Doc, how do you respond to those who would argue that some of the OMCs are quick, and your members, to review prices upwards when the window is due? But when there is a need for a marginal or a reduction, then you find all sort of argument being played out. Price floor, we need to finish our product, there are some costs and all the rest, and I need to deal with that. Doesn't that raises a lot of questions about, again, how committed are your members to this full price deregulation policy that we are supposed to be implementing?
Yeah, so I'll answer you in two folds, with respect to this question. Members buy or purchase a product at X, and tomorrow is X minus 2, but they still need to pay the X to the BDC or to the IOTC. And that means that they need to recover fully what they've taken at the price X that I mentioned. So members will be very slow in taking a decision to go down when price goes
But
down.
is that fair? Because when it's supposed to go up, your members are quick to review.
I'm getting there.
Okay, all
Whether
right.
it's fair or not, you're looking at your books, okay? Because you're right. When I mention a crazy market, it means that we are dealing with that with an undulating kind of profile in terms of pricing. Today you gain, tomorrow you lose. And my members do understand that. My so-called experienced members, so to put it, understand that the pricing dynamics are not always in favor of you. But as an economist, I've come to understand that in Africa, especially Ghana, because I live in Ghana, we've adhered to so much to understand something we call in economics the self inflation. It's not only my members doing that. When fuel price go up, transportation go up, trotro will increase price with some 50 cents.
It depends.
I'm telling the truth.
It depends. It's not always the case where fuel prices have gone up, that transport prices have gone up. It's supposed to be some margin of increase, Doc.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'll get there. You see trotro price going up, taxes going up, therefore affecting food prices. Because you see, as powerful as the industry is, it actually regulates the entire value chain into the economy. Because fuel price goes up, transportation goes up, things in the market goes up automatically. But when now fuel price go down and the oil marketing companies have decreased the prices. After, it can be 3 days, it can be 1 week, it can be, I mean, how many windows do you take? You don't see throttle price going down to that effect. They maintain it. And I'm telling you the fact, things are now stabilized. Let there be an increase again, then that situation comes up. And this is what we call the self-inflation. Yeah. This is true in this country.
Yeah. Doc, I understand. Aren't we comparing apples? Are we not comparing apples and oranges here? Because let's restrict ourselves to the oil marketing industry now. And I'm saying that, yes, sometimes it comes across as members want to shift the goalposts and justify delays in passing the court. There was a window that we knew prices should have gone down. And I heard some of the members or your members saying that, there have been some costs we need to recover.
Yeah,
so, and all the rest. But that is not fair.
No,
if we have all agreed to the principle that these are the fundamentals or indices that guide pricing, let's all stick by it, Doc.
Yeah, I mean,
but in situations where consumers are supposed to benefit, George, you find your members shifting the goalpost and not going down.
Do not forget.
Especially this window.
Again, do not forget that we have a price window.
Yeah.
That is set by the regulator for the 2 weeks that we need to oblige to. So when price go down and the regulator has not reviewed the window, we have the liberty to sell within that same window. Because it's a range, you can pick the peak or the valley of the range. So you can come as low as what we term as a floor price today. As far as you are still making waves to pay your levies and your regulatory fees and all your margins are taken care of. But depending also on when you bought your product. And I cited 2 examples. If I bought my product last week at X, and you buy your product today at S minus 2, I am seriously going to sell lower than you because I bought my product now. So I can choose to price it at that less to as compared to yours. So that's how you're going to see the dynamics. Yeah. Okay, it's not that it's deliberate that I buy it at high and I need to sell at a low price because the price is low. But again, if it's within the level of the playmates.
But Doc, some will say that in business, we all know that before your members got into this space, they knew that this would be the dynamics of the industry, that you win some, you gain some. It will not always be the case that because you have invested X amount, you should necessarily recover all. You will look at a period where that investment will recoup. And again, it comes back. There's some will say that if there is
it goes back to one of the main challenges we have in the industry. The high number of oil marketing companies.
You think the bar should be raised?
It's long overdue, George.
Why are you not pushing it? If you think that...
I'm not pushing it.
So why are you not
We've had several dialogues with them.
And what is the NPA saying about the fact that we have too many oil marketing companies in the space? The bar should be raised to ensure that the number is cut down for a small economy like Ghana. We don't need more than 150 oil marketing companies.
We are more than Nigeria has in terms of oil marketing companies. Look at the size of Nigeria and the population of Nigeria. We are more than Nigeria.
What has the NPA told you when you made that proposal to them?
Yeah, we're looking into it.
They are looking, and this is something that came up even as far back as 5 years ago.
But from 5 years to now, do you know how many oil ministries have been added to it?
But I'm saying that, as a player, and I've been told, and as a player that you exist to protect the interest.
I've been told also that by end of December, we should expect more OMCs to come. And I don't know what they're going to do.
Are you comfortable with that? I know you have very frank discussions with the National Petroleum Authority. And you tell them about the fact that it's not about profits, but the fact that even about efficient regulation, you have too many players in the space. It's a difficulty. Yeah. Have you pushed these concerns to the NPA?
I'm very happy. I mean, George, you see, if you build a school to take 1,000 students, in terms of facility-wise, and the student number outgrows to be 2,000, you suffer. Because now people would have to now do morning session and going. People have to come in the afternoon. Regulation-wise, it's tough. I'm okay with my members. I must fight for my members. I must advocate for my members. But it's not easy with a quantum of members who don't know what they are doing. And I'm telling you for a fact. In Ghana, it's just so obvious that someone started a business. It's going so well. How do you do it? And I also put myself in it. I still don't understand how oil marketing companies with 7 stations today are breaking even. And that's why we see so many malfunctions. Undercutting, selling lower quantity at the pump. We saw one video recently, even though it's not a recent video, but
yeah, it's an old one.
It's an old one, but it's still in the system. You wouldn't see things like this when you have a minimum number, a handful that you can actually regulate. There are so many regulations in the system, but still the system is corrupt. Have you asked yourself why? Because the number is too much.
Is the NPA aware of all these concerns that has been highlighted?
Yes.
From your end as a player? We meet
NPA
when these concerns are put forward to them, what are their official communication to you? I know there's been argument about, these things are politically related, and all the rest. And these are things we get backdoor, and that people are pushing all those things through. And when you have your political authority pushing through to grant license to these firms, there's also they can do. But as a regulator in the industry, they themselves, what are they doing? Raising the bar is not stopping anybody from coming and ensure that these are the requirements. If you cannot make it, some are defaulting on taxes, some are defaulting on a lot of things, and all those things, some are involved in other things apart from just selling petroleum products. What are they telling you?
One thing I find very difficult appreciating, ever since I took this role, or ever since I probably came back home, is the level of political underpinning in the petroleum sector.
Or interference, almost.
The interference. I believe it's too much. And anytime you have that high difference in oil and gas business, you destroy the industry. And that's what Ghana has witnessed over the years. Because if you take a look at countries that allow the industry players to play the game, they are doing amazingly well. But what's our case here? It could be any reason why they cannot stop or reduce the numbers. But I always cite this very example that if Exxon and Mobil had to merge to form ExxonMobil, become the world's superpower, to overthrow Shell, who was the then time number one. What stopped us as Ghanaians, if the regulator is not doing it, what stopped us as Ghanaians to coerce, to meet together and say, George, you have 7 stations. You have an oil marketing company. I also have 10 stations. Let's come together and form one. Then also move together. What's happening? Everybody wants to become an MD. Everybody wants to drive a Land Cruiser. So what happens is that they get a license, they get 7 stations, the requirement, they sell the first consignment, and they're off.
I know you are, yeah.
Now, MPA has promised me and the entire industry that they're going to put measures in place. And when I met the flag bearer of NDC, I asked him the same question. That's my first question I asked him, that, His Excellency, this is a situation. When you come, what are you going to do? The same question was asked to MPP, I mean, just to be fair.
Yeah.
But all of them are seeking for dialogues. We know the answer.
How to
what
deal
dialogue?
with this?
Why dollar
I know.
Let's put a cut that we want 50. We want 90.
You think that's where we should go?
We should go that way.
Doc, but some will say that, yes, we agree about regulation. But there's also a peer industry check as well. I mean, you talk about some of your members who you ask yourself whether they are even making even. At the industry level, the peer-to-peer engagement and checks, have you also pushed this idea that, listen, for the sake of the survival of this industry, what stops us like-minded OMCs coming together? If the regulator would not do it, what about the OMCs themselves?
Yes, it's something that has come up. And last week at the AGM, I mentioned it. One of the things that we plan to do next year, I think in the first quarter, the date is yet to come out. We as an association are going to organize a downstream dialogue It's not a conference.
Is it not the same?
No, no.
Is it not the same dialogue that the politicians are pushing that you think that it's not necessary? Even you also are going to do it, the dog.
No, let me explain. You mentioned something that is very critical.
Yeah.
And something that probably the association and the stakeholders need to take it very seriously.
Yeah.
This dialogue is going to be a dialogue between CEs, MDs of the chamber, or let me say.
But we know the issues already. Some will say, why do we need a dialogue to address it?
No, if you don't have a dialogue to agree on what to do, how are you going to do it? From the members level.
Yeah.
We need to meet, run the numbers to them, and face facts that company A, B, C, this is how you're doing because I have the numbers. And I believe you're not making any profit. No wonder you're owing this amount.
Yeah.
So we put it out to them. And therefore, we suggest that a high flyer, a well-doing oil marketing company needs to buy into that. You can have 5% shares in that by giving your company and your outlets to that company. And that should be the way to go. I can call it a meeting, but I should call it a dialogue. You understand? But because, like I said, it's not a conference.
Yeah.
It's a meeting with CEs and MDs of companies.
Look, I'll be getting back more into the industry issues and regulation, but back again to my pricing issue. So, we understand that all your members haven't done the review. We also understand that because some of them you need to mark up certain costs. So, absolutely, we should understand the delays in reviewing their prices and all the rest. With all these things going forward, we've seen that crude prices are dropping. Obviously, that would hit Platts because of, again, a Trump presidency and a president that believes in fracking and the idea of producing more. The outlook points, look at what has happened with OPEC and all the rest. If this current trend in the city continues, and from the Bank of Ghana indication, they are willing to do more to bring the city or the rates down, how are we going to see pricing going forward for the end of the month and even going to December?
George, let me tell the truth. I buy fuel too, just as you do, okay?
Oh, you don't have a free card that you just drive and then you just swipe and then you swipe and then you get these petroleum products being pumped into your car or coupons
fuel.
or whatever.
I don't have coupon, I buy fuel. I'm telling you.
Really, that's the reality?
Yes.
Okay, don't worry, let's move on.
I buy fuel as the CEO of Association of Oil Marketing Companies.
Oh, okay, that's news to me actually,
right,
don't worry.
I'm happy you do now. So yeah. I have the same feeling, okay? I'll be happy to fill my car with 400 cedis instead of 800 cedis tomorrow because I'll save some money for Christmas, okay? Like I mentioned here in September, with that forecast I gave, that prices are going to go down because of that and that. I could only talk about Platt, which was the case. I can also mention that, yes, we anticipate a global nosedive of Platt price.
Yeah. And
that will influence, in the long run, how the pump prices will be. Also, as far as the cedi becomes stable or even decline, or even appreciate better against the dollar. And then we're going to have a very real impact. But like I said, my members are going to adhere to the window level given to us by the regulator. We're going to adhere to that, at the same time keeping the floor price because of reasons that were best well known to us. At the same time, I believe that things that have had their prices escalated due to all these factors will also be drawn back to help the inflation rate. Again, look, you see, if you take a January outlook to now, the Platt movement for petrol is negative 11.39. Diesels, negative 17.25.
So the cedi was the biggest problem then, some would say.
That's what I said. But look at the cedi movement. It was plus 35.94. So it shoot over the bar.
So if it had not been the cedi's terrible performance earlier this year,
price would
have been dropping significantly.
Correct.
At the pumps.
That's it. That's the graph.
But isn't there that's a great, okay, my cameras cannot show this one. I know my director will get mad at me, but this is what I'm trying to show to the cameras here. But isn't there a markup? Because sometimes we see some, listen, we were 80. Look at what it came down to 70, 71, 73. If there is a significant drop in the Platts prices, doesn't it make up for any wobbling currency? Some will say that, help me out or give me some 101 education here.
There's a big debate on the page I am on, and I'm not going to mention it, you know. And the issue was, I mean, the issue had to do with if the crude oil product market determined the dollar rate or not. No, it has no impact. Okay, the only impact is the dependency ratio of any hard currency that brings a hike. You know, we do have problem with a Forex issue when the USD or the dollars is being kept in our homes, which is not in the bank. A hard currency needs to circulate. It needs to feel accepted. But if I go to the bank and I'm being told that there's no dollar.
Is that the situation? Are your members struggling to get dollars from the bank?
Oh yes, BDCs are struggling to get dollars from the bank.
But we understand Bank of Ghana has been supporting them. I mean, with the auctions that they do.
Less than 20%.
Is it your members or the BDCs are struggling?
BDCs.
But
our marketing companies do not face the Forex change. Forex issue is the BDC.
Is that what the BDCs are telling you? Because we get the understanding that BOG is now active on the market. They are meeting demands and all the rest. They are auctions and all the rest.
Engage BOG as well, okay? Because you see, don't think we play in isolation.
Yeah.
I'm always on the phone with Seabird. We are always talking. We are always engaging to see how best we can help the industry. And today, what the BOG is doing is less than 20%.
Of their need.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So they are still struggling to get dollars.
Exactly.
But what is the news about liquidity on the market improving? That is why it is impacting on the FX show. Unless there's a hidden hand which is not the case, because if liquidity has not improved, that would have impacted on the final pricing of FX on the market. Even if you restrict to the bank level, some of them are doing 16, 5, and all the rest. The Forex.
This is when you just want to associate it. So you just want to align oil sales, I mean crude oil product sales with Forex directly. But there are so many things that actually regulates the Forex, and that's another topic on its own. You know, it depends on your import and export exchange. How much you've imported and how much you also export into other markets. That is one. And I believe one of the things that really helped us has been the cocoa season, bringing an export rate, so the dollar is coming in. That's one of them, that as I know. But there are so many factors affecting the Forex rate, and it's not.
So the auctions, the spot sale, the 7-day auction, all of that is not.
It's contributing. I mean, don't get me wrong.
But when you say that the BDCs are not getting enough dollars, I struggle to connect with all these developments of the market, i.e., what the BDCs are getting and what they are not getting.
You're not getting enough. After all, they're not getting off from BOG. As far as
so they get 20% of their total demand.
I stand to be corrected.
But that could have impacted badly on the prices then if they're not getting enough dollars to pay for the imports then.
Remember, that does not really, I mean, that will not necessarily affect the end price because it's still a rate that has been established by BOG, right? So if the central bank says this is a rate based on all external and internal factors, it is what it is. But you're not having access to the dollar. It's another subject altogether.
Do you see the situation improving going forward?
I hope so.
But still, to my outlook thing. So, what should we expect? You're trying to give some variables or determinants that would impact on the outlook. If I hold the current trend on the Platts platform, anything, and again, you're explaining to me that if the Cedi has even been stable, which is all other things being equal, we could have seen more significant reduction at the pump price for the whole of this year.
Yes, an average of, I would say, 14% plus
Drop.
Drop, yeah. On average.
The city is now a major determinant here.
Yeah, and I said from the beginning that last year we didn't have this conversation. You know, I mean, last year, anytime I was talking about crude oil products prices increasing, it was directly associated with Platt, always. It was always associated
Should
with
we
Platt.
see...
Is this year, because of the Cedi depreciation, that's why we're having this issue.
Should we see if this trend, and again, I want to hold this variable constant in this, whatever equation you are trying to build here, if we should see the Cedi's recovery being sustained going forward, are we going to see a larger reduction or a huge reduction in the pump prices going forward?
100%. And I can assure you that. Let's go back to even 12. From 16 to 12, and you see the changes that will happen and the impact of it.
Maybe 16 to 15 or something. Or some of the banks are actually doing, some of the banks are doing 15.
15.7.
Yeah. So we can do maybe 14 or 13 before end of this year, maybe.
Fingers crossed.
So, I mean, if the trend should continue, do I get the assurance from your members that they won't come up with we are trying to recover our cost, price floor, and all those things?
As it stands today, you know, last 2 weeks, there was fuel shortage.
Okay. Can you confirm that? Because, again, I engaged a BDC, I engaged an OMC that told me in confidence that we are having some supply issues on the market.
Yes, there was supply issue in the market because of another topic I don't want to...
Yeah, and that BDC, when OMC told me that if it hadn't been that supply challenges, we would have seen a significant reduction in prices at the pumps. There's a BDC and OMC as well, operating that same value chain.
It's true. And I'm happy you're saying that because that's what I was going to.
Oh.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that, and I'm happy you know that already, because if you look at the graph, you see that the reduction was steep. It was very steady, and it was very consistent. So if we had received a new consignment with a new price that is far lower than whatever it was in the market, we would have had that also big hike. But because we're selling a product that was in I'll say a month or two supplied with a flat price at that time, we saw that the price was also high. Okay, but I'm happy with what MP does. Regardless of that, they still give you in the pricing regime the window at which you're operating with.
What is as we speak right now? Has that supply situation improved or?
Yeah, it's going to improve. It's going to improve.
You know, you're saying it is going to improve.
Yeah, it's improving.
From your end, what caused that supply problem as an OMC? Because we were...
Okay, as an OMC?
As an association. No, I mean, as an association of oil marketing companies.
As OMCs.
What caused that supply problem on the market?
Yeah, because BDCs couldn't have enough to supply us.
What caused that? Was it that we were not having enough dollars to pay for imports?
You know,
or maybe bust, or there was again a procurement issue that has, just like what happened to the LPG. What caused that problem then, as far as you're concerned, as far as the briefs that you had, not accusing anybody of being the cause of that problem? What were the official briefs that you had, as in what has caused or what caused that supply problem some weeks ago?
Delay in supply chain.
From the transporters?
From the IOTCs. There's international gas, the international oil traders.
What caused that delay?
Logistics, one. And
payment?
Sorry?
Payment issues from Ghana?
Payment issues from Ghana for certain OMCs and BDCs, for sure. And also the fact that we were so much dependent on the G4O, good for oil, which had a little bit of backlash. So there was less supply as anticipated for G4O. And Centio is also down.
Centio is down. Yeah. Why are they down?
No crude oil to refine.
From
anyway.
Importing or...
Yeah.
But we thought that everything had stabilized for them and all the rest and all those things.
They are late as well.
And that played a role as well.
Of course, because you see, if I'm a BDC and I know that there'll be G4O, there's Centio operating, I wouldn't buy certain quantities. Okay, so if I'm buying 10, I'll buy 5 or I'll buy 4. Know that I can get the remaining 6 from G4O or from Centio. And when Centio is down, there's no G4O. Sorry, it'll be lack.
So those were some of the issues that
Correct.
contributed to the supply issues on the market.
Sure.
As we speak right now, and again, the official briefs that you had, has those issues improved, or there are still pockets of supply challenges when it comes to Centio and then the gold for oil products coming in as well?
Yeah, so as of today, if it's today that they started refining, I don't know. But as of yesterday, Centio was still not refining. For gold for oil, I don't follow it that much, personally.
Why don't you follow it that much? You're an oil marketing company. You don't believe in the program? You don't think the program it's working?
I don't know.
No, I mean, you don't know, might not be, it might be an interesting answer.
Also, the fact that now members of the BDCs know that there are delays from these two angles, so now they are important. So I'm sure that...
You're hopeful that the situation will improve?
Yep, sure.
Gold for oil program, you think was a well thought through program?
It's working in other countries, so it can work here, if it's done well.
Is it not being done well?
I don't know.
Because it's been touted as one of the programs that has helped stabilize prices at the pumps.
Okay.
No, I'm just that's what we are being told. And so from your end, if that is not the situation, maybe you will help enlighten us and our viewers that, well, we don't think that the expectation is being met because there are still some seething implementation issues with it.
You know, it's not about the implementation per se. It's about how you run the program, okay? Because Ghana is not one of the countries that delay in implementing new policies. We are very fast at drafting excellent policies, implementing them, but making it work is always an issue. And like I said, the problem is always when we attach politics into a program that should be left to work. That's our problem.
Do you see these things improving? And I was asking about the supply situation. You see it improving going forward, or you think that they still persist?
I mean, it's going to improve because, like I said, the importers or the BDCs have understood that the challenge or the dynamics of the supply chain. So they are putting things in place to get products in. So I mean, it's better.
This week things should improve. Yeah,
because like I said, if looking at the price today, if you had chunk of product, okay, and price even goes up, then like mathematics will say, they bought it cheap, let's sell it cheap. Yeah, that's how it works. It's the market dynamics.
If I bring these new supply variable in my equation, maybe it's my X.
Have you been inquisitive enough, okay, to understand how much we actually purchase our good for oil products?
I don't know. Maybe you can help me.
I don't know as well.
You obviously, Dr. Robertson, you have a fair idea about how much you purchased it.
If it's something of interest, then I think we all need to ask questions. You know, because if the intention was to release the price or the pump,
then it's not working.
How much is being bought for? Then there's a big question mark on that.
Doc, if I bring in the supply, maybe equation X or Z into this whole thing, then I should be measured with my expectation that going forward, prices should be dropping significantly. Should I be measured?
Yeah, and I think I told you already. This prediction was done 3 months ago, and indeed, if all these variables are kept constant, and the fact that the Cedi is doing well now, miraculously, and the fact that thanks to the change in government in the US, which play a very big decision.
The Trump effect.
The Trump effect is bringing the Platt and WTI down. That means that we should have that impact here in Ghana.
But I see this new supply thing, which you are optimistic that will improve as a new thing.
No, it's improving. It's improving.
It's improving now. It is. You don't think you're going to get a situation where it could result in some shortages at the pumps?
No, not at all.
So at least you should expect things moving.
Sure.
The expectation is good
Yeah.
going forward.
Good.
Rivers will be coming back. We'll find out from you how the price floor is actually working also and how it's impacting. This is PM Express Businesses. Just we engage the chief executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivers Nopon, on the Cedi and the pricing of petroleum product. We'll be right back after this break.